Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, professor of physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We're talking about the week of December 18th, 2023, almost done with the year. If you've been watching these, and I'm sure you all have, and you wait anxiously for the new one to come out, you recognize we haven't in a long time done one of our, hey, here's something suggested to look at for each night of the week in the week ahead. And we decided it's time to do that. I think if you pay close attention here, you can feel something of the rhythm of the academic year. That is, the semester is over, finals are done, still have quite a bit of grading and cleaning up of stuff to do here, but not going to class and meetings as much throughout the day. Gives me a little bit more time to think about structuring something like this. It takes a little bit longer to put this together. So there you go. There's a little insight into the rhythm of my life. And so let's jump right into it. As always, when we do one of these are fun, right? It's just a board full of fun. And as always, when we do something like this, if we're not talking about planets and the moon, and maybe even if we are talking about planets, they don't move all that fast against the background stars. But if we're not talking about those sorts of things, you could actually do any one of these on any given night. The moon, for sure. And if the moon's interacting with the planets, and then for sure that, or if a planet's very near a star, then you need that on the specific night in question. But we'll talk about that. Let's start. 18th into the 19th, the first evening of the week. This is an evening thing, not the 19th, but on the evening of the 18th. As it gets dark, you're here in the northern hemisphere where I am, mid-northern latitudes. You look south, and you will see probably just a little bit west of south. So you'll look a little bit toward the southwest, and you'll see the moon. The moon at this point is about 40% full. The moon's going to fill out as the week goes on. So this is a waxing moon and going to make it harder to see some objects. And so the moon is about a fist and a half width at arm length, about 14 degrees east of Saturn. So find the moon, move to the west a little bit. You'll see a kind of yellowish, orangish looking dot, depending on how much atmosphere it's coming through. Depends on how reddish it looks. And you'll see that's Saturn. Saturn will be the brightest star, the first star you come to that'll be brighter than the rest. Drop down below there, it is Fomalhaut. You've heard me talk about that before. I love Fomalhaut. Of all of the really bright stars in the sky, it's the southernmost one I can see easily with regularity. So check out that triangle right there. Moon, Saturn, and Fomalhaut. Great, on the 18th. The next night, 19th into the 20th, and this is something that's going to rise, this region of the sky, going to rise to where you can observe it at about 9 p.m. If you're familiar with Orion, that is a terrible rendition of Orion. I just wanted to use it as a guide there. So you have Orion over here, and just to the west of the east of the bottom part of Orion is Sirius, the brightest star in all the sky. So go find your familiar pattern of Orion, the three stars in the belt, Betelgeuse, and Rigel, the bright shoulder and leg star right there, and then find the brightest star in the region, and that's Sirius. And again, about 14 degrees to the east of Sirius are two open star clusters, M46 and M47, right there together. And these are open star clusters that would look good. You probably could find them in a pair of binoculars, would look good in a small telescope. I recommend these open star clusters, something fun to see. Not yet completely washed out by the waxing moon, so it's good to get this in early in the week before the moon fills this out. Okay? Washes this out. So we got, as the moon fills up. So we've got about a fist and a half width at arm length, again to the east of Sirius. Look for these open star clusters. There's other open star clusters in the area, but we're recommending these right now. On the next night, the 20th into the 21st, now this is a morning thing. So this is really the morning of the 21st. This rose about 9 p.m., was up the rest of the night. That's an all-night thing. In the morning of the 20th, the 21st, after the evening of the 20th, we've been in the morning this fall watching Venus track through Virgo, and Virgo here, so Spica is the bright star in the morning sky right there, and you'll see it rising up this region rises about 3 in the morning. So anytime from 3 in the morning until it gets too light to see, get out there and see if you can find the familiar Y shape of Virgo. And to the south a little bit and to the west of Spica and this Y of Virgo is Corvus the Crow, and I didn't do a great job with that either. Corvus pops out to me every time I see it. I love Corvus. It's this it's this quadrilateral of stars. And there aren't many other stars around there, and so every time I see it, it's like, oh, there's Corvus. It just pops right out, looking sort of below and right, if you will. If you're in the morning sky, you're looking at Spica, and you're looking at the Y of Virgo. Look to the lower part of Virgo and swing to the right a little bit, and see if you can't see that sort of stretched out rectangle. It's not quite a rectangle. The bottom's a little wider than the top. Well, I do a terrible job drawing that every time I try to draw it. So the bottom should be stretched out a little bit more. Beta Corvus star is a third magnitude star, is the bottom left star in that stretched out, in that quadrilateral. And just about 3.5 degrees, just a few degrees right below there, is a beautiful globular cluster, M68. So you got your small telescope out, you've looked at M46 and M47 open star clusters in the plane of our galaxy. Now, the next morning, I suggest going and finding M68, the globular cluster, orbiting around the center of the galaxy in a big halo, and see if you can find that just below Corvus, right there. And so then, the 21st into the 22nd, again, this is a morning thing. So we're talking about the morning of the 22nd here right now. About 5 a.m. would be a good time to go out and look at this. Venus, as we talked about, has been tracking through Virgo, from Leo into Virgo this spring, and now it's in Libra. And you've got 3 stars that mark the top of Libra right here. So Spica's up that direction. Spica that we saw back here is up that direction. And you can track this way. Venus is going to be the brightest object in this region of the sky. See if you can find these 3 stars, this nice triangle that is the top of Libra. And we've got 2 named stars there, Zubin El Ganubi and Zubin Escanal right here. Is that star. But you see these 3 stars, just find the 3 stars of Libra with Venus in there. Now, 22nd into the 23rd, this is a great all-night kind of thing. As it gets evening in the 22nd, look north. For those of you who are in the northern hemisphere like I am and can see the North Star up above, so mid-northern latitudes, the angle of Polaris, the North Star above the northern horizon, is equal to your latitude in the north. So here I am at 43 degrees north latitude. So at 43 degrees above the northern horizon, I see Polaris. And in the evening, Cassiopeia, that looks like this M above Polaris, is high above Polaris right there. So as it gets dark, I look up there and I see beautiful Cassiopeia. By the time I get up the next morning, in the morning of the 23rd, the Big Dipper, which is skimming the horizon and hard for me to see the night before, is way up high, and Cassiopeia has rotated around here. We use the 2 bowl and stars in the bowl of the Big Dipper to point to Polaris, if you haven't done that before. So you find your bowl stars, your pointer stars in the Big Dipper, and they point up to Polaris that way, and the handle curves back this direction. So watch the Big Dipper and Cassiopeia changing positions below the pole and above the pole as the night wears on this week, in any given night that you want to go out and look at that. And then the next night, 23rd into 24th, the moon is now about 90% full, and it sits about at 90% full. It's going to be up most of the night, right? So you can see this just about any time of the night, certainly as it gets dark in the evening. The bright star Jupiter, the thing that looks like a bright star. We've been watching Jupiter here. It's big and beautiful. It's the first thing you see each night as it gets dark each evening. And so Jupiter is a beauty right there, and it sits about 20 degrees, about that far at arm's length away from the moon. Sort of along the way is Uranus. If you wanted to go try to find Uranus, the moon's going to be washing it out quite a bit, but it's right on that line between the two, maybe a third of the way from the moon to Jupiter, maybe between a quarter and a third of the way from the moon to Jupiter. Okay, we're making it through the week. We're going. You still with me? We got, what do we got? We got one more night to do, the 24th into the 25th, and it's another one of these fun to see how much the sky rotates in one night kind of thing. In the evening, I love this. I love this. The 24th into the 25th of December, you look west as it gets dark, and you can see the entire summer triangle. Deneb, Vega, and Altair standing up against the western horizon. And you can see them there. The Cygnus looks like the Northern Cross standing straight up and down on the western horizon. And it's just fun to think about the summer triangle, how much we orbit, how much we rotate, how much of the sky we can see at different times of the year, because this is, after all, the summer triangle. And so we think of this as the summer triangle, but it is, in fact, right here in the heart of winter, as we're about to turn the calendar over to January, that we see Deneb and Vega and Altair, that summer triangle. But wait, you get up in the morning again on the 25th, and just like we did over here where we saw that Cassiopeia and the Big Dipper had changed places, you get up on the morning of the 25th, and look at that, there's Vega, pretty easy to see rising into the morning sky, and probably you can see Deneb if you've got a good horizon and you work on it. Not Altair. It depends where you are, maybe. But not Altair. Altair, no, probably not Altair for anybody. It's too far south for me. These stars are close enough to be in circumpolar. These are circumpolar stars that are in the sky all the time. We call this circumpolar. The further north they are, the easier it is. 90 minus your latitude, any stars that are within that distance of the pole. Anyway, any stars that are within your, never mind, your latitude of the pole. But you can see these in the sky all the time. And Vega and Deneb, for me, are right up there close. And so by 4 a.m., I can see Vega pretty clearly. And Deneb, Deneb will follow. And by 5 or 5:30, I should see Deneb crossing the horizon. So I can see parts of the summer triangle in the morning and in the evening on the 24th and the 25th, the evening of the 24th, the morning of the 25th. So that's our quick rush. Sorry we blew through that, but we didn't want to spend all kinds of time doing this. Our quick look at something to look at every night of the week. We hope you have some clear skies. We hope you have a chance to get out and enjoy these beautiful winter skies. And as always, thanks for watching, everybody.